Do you want to learn how to make delicious macaroons for Valentine's Day? Would you like to learn some useful cooking verbs? My name is Jen.
My name is Amber.
My name is Hannah.
And today we're going to teach you all about how to make macaroons and how to use some useful cooking verbs in English. Today we are going to show you how to make two different kinds of macaroons, raspberry flavored and grape flavored. So today, before we started to make macaroons, we decided that we wanted to drink some coffee. First, you need to boil the water. Once the water is boiled, add the boiling water to the cup. The verb that we should use here is pour. Pour the water into the cup. After that, please stir. Stir the coffee. Now that we have our coffee, we're ready to start making macaroons. The first step to making any type of food is to get a recipe. Here I have a bunch of recipes and cookbooks. The recipe that we're going to follow today is Hannah's original recipe on how to make macaroons. Recipe means what are the steps or the directions that you need to follow in order to make a particular type of food. So let's follow Hannah's recipe today. Once you have the recipe that you want to make, the next thing you should do is gather your ingredients. Gather means to get everything that you will need to make this particular recipe. Ingredients means the types of food, which specific foods are going to go into the dish that you are creating. In this case, today's ingredients are egg whites, 105 grams of egg whites, which is about 3 eggs. White sugar, about 105 grams. Almond powder, about 138 grams. And icing sugar, about 138 grams of that as well. And then some food coloring. Those are the ingredients to make the macaroons. Once you've gathered all your ingredients, if it's going to be a dish or a recipe that needs the oven, what you need to do next is preheat the oven. Pre means before. So you're going to turn the oven on so that it comes to the right temperature before putting your food into the oven. Now you can see Hannah preparing the cooking pans. The next thing we need to do to make macaroons is we have to measure our ingredients. The way I usually measure things is with a measuring cup. But really good chefs like Hannah and Amber are measuring things using a scale. These are two different ways that you can measure ingredients. Now that they have measured how much almond flour they need, they are sifting the almond flour. This is called a sifter. So you put the flour in and you try to make sure that there are no bumps in the flour or in any of the ingredients that you are using. Sifting, sift. As we mentioned, for this recipe, we only need the egg whites. So here, after Hannah has broken the egg, she broke the egg. Now she is separating the egg whites from the egg yolks. Yolk is the yellow part of the egg. She is separating the egg white from the egg yolks for this recipe. Now you can see Hannah beating or mixing the ingredients together. In this case, we can say beat or mix. This tool here is called a mixer or a beater. Mixer or beater, an electronic one. You can also beat or mix the ingredients by hand. Now you can see Hannah is adding color into the mixture for the macaroons. The next thing she's going to do is blend the wet and dry ingredients together. Blend is another way to say mix. Now that the macaroon mixture is ready, Hannah is filling the pastry bag with the mixture. Watch as they scrape all of the macaroon mixture out of the bowl and into the pastry bag. The next verb we want to focus on is squeeze. Here you can see Hannah and Amber are squeezing the mixture onto the cooking sheets. They are making evenly spaced and even-sized circles as they squeeze the mixture. A really important thing for making macaroons is to make sure that you get all of the air bubbles out of the circles that are on the tray. One way to help you remove the air bubbles is by banging the pan on a flat surface. Another way that you can remove any air bubbles is by popping the bubbles with a toothpick. Now that the macaroon circles are ready, we need to let them sit for 20 to 30 minutes. When you let something sit, it means that you just leave it there and you don't touch it. After letting them sit, then you can put them into the oven to bake. To bake something means that you cook it inside the oven. For the macaroon recipe, we're going to bake them for 13 minutes. You can see Hannah setting the timer to make sure that they are cooked for the proper amount of time. As they are baking, we can prepare the icing. One of the first things we need to do to prepare the icing is soften the butter. Here you can see the butter being softened with a spatula. This useful item is called a spatula. Hannah is softening the butter with a spatula. Next, we're going to add some yogurt powder and jam or other flavorings to the mixture and mix it well. After the mixture has been mixed well, we're going to fill another pastry bag with the icing. Once the macaroons have finished baking, we need to remove or take them out of the oven. When you remove things from the oven or when you take things out of the oven, make sure you wear oven mitts. If you don't wear oven mitts, you could burn your hands. After you take the macaroons out of the oven, you need to let them sit for about another 15 minutes or so until they cool down. Cool down means that they will no longer be hot. Once the macaroons have cooled down, then you can begin to ice the macaroons. Icing is usually a noun, as you can see, make the icing. But it can also be a verb, ice the macaroons. Add some icing to the macaroon. Flip over the macaroons that you will use for icing. Flip over. This verb is flip over or turn over. Once you have squeezed the icing onto the macaroons, you can put the top onto the bottom of the macaroon. And a very important thing after you've made any recipe is to do the dishes or wash the dishes. Finally, after doing all of these steps, you have some super delicious macaroons that are ready to eat. So the next verb is enjoy. Enjoy these macaroons with your friends or with your sweetheart for Valentine's Day. So today, you learned a bunch of useful cooking verbs and how to make these delicious macaroons. And now it's time for question of the day. Today's question is, what is your favorite food to make? Let me know in the comments below. Mina, benkyo, ganbatte ne! Ja ne!
Ja ne!
Eat!